So yeah, I'm requesting our guest to please turn on his camera. It will be more efficient this way. I'm really thankful that you managed to come, even though you had a power cut in your local, as you said. That still you managed. It's a great man. So, so yeah, I got a green signal from our community to start for today's event. So a very good evening, all the folks those who have came to join here today. We are having an amazing person who have joined here. Soon we get to know that the application that most of you have used is developed by him. So before coming to his introduction, we'll be having a chit chat. We'll be having a lot of discussion regarding Android application. As today's event is amplifying with Android, I will be introducing Developer Student Club, Lovely Professional University, those who are working really hard to amaze you for the upcoming solution challenge, that's Google Solution Challenge 2021. So DSC is a community that uses Google technology. It's a global community that's working for the upliftment of students, encouraging the spirit of learning, and we have also arranged a lot of workshops to help you folks to understand the contributions that you can do in order to make your community grow through participating in open source and hackathon. So we are having amazing opportunity to join DC Solution Challenge 2021 by 31st of March. And about this, my co-host Sharanya Bhargavi is going to say something. Sharanya, do you have something for the DC Solution Challenge from you? Yeah, please.
Yeah, DSC Solution Challenge is like a hackathon, and we have 17 different goals on which we can build various projects on and submit it before 31st of March. From the DSC LPU, right now we have organized, just yesterday, many of you might have attended a very insightful hands-on session on Actions on Google by Suraj Mani. And yeah, before that, we also had our guest speaker, the last year Solution Challenge winner as well in our introductory session. And then we also had a question and answer session also, where many of your doubts regarding the Solution Challenge has been cleared. Now that we are talking about the technical workshops, today we have with us Nimagna Jain with us for the Android theme.
Yeah, exactly, Sharanya. So, yeah, a very good evening, Akhil, a very good evening, Rajiv, a very good evening, Tripti. I hope you're all excited for today's event. So, before starting the introduction of Nimagna Jain, I'd like to say something about those who students are still finding any problem to join DC Solution Challenge. We still have a few days to go, like 31st of March is the last date to register. We are also organizing an internal hackathon for behalf of the students of Lovely Professional University. On 28th of March, you'll be getting all the updates. Kindly follow the social media handles of DSCLPU, and you'll be having 17 sustainable goals. And for the same reason as we have introduced you, Praveen Agarwal, last year, DC Solution Challenge winner, who created an application amazingly to solve our day-to-day life. And similarly, there was a person who came in LPU long back, few years back. He found a problem. That problem was to identify the material that we need to study. So he created an application that is crossed nearly 30k subscription, 30k downloads in Google Play Store, and having rated more than 4.5 stars. And also he has contributed to open source hackathons and also created a lot of amazing applications to help the companies, and also he's in the field of freelancing. Recently he got an internship from LinkedIn as an SDE1 role, none other than Nimagna Jain, who is the founder and the creator of the PMS application, for which we all are studying and getting the passing marks. Anyway, I'll be introducing Nimagna Jain. So hi Nimagna, how are you doing?
Hi boss, thank you for giving us such a lovely introduction for mine. I hope you all are fine.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see now from the last day, I was getting an overwhelming response that I need to talk Bhaiya, Nimagna Bhaiya, like how did he create it? So I'll be not be taking much time. I'll be deep diving to your journey. So please tell us something about what is Nimagna before PMS, like how you identified the problem, how you decided to start, or something you want to say. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so first of all, I will be introducing myself. So my name is Nimagna Jain. I am currently pursuing BTech from Lovely Professional University itself. As of now, I am in 6th semester. So talking about how I started my journey in Android development and in how it led to the development of the PMS app and my journey as a freelancer So just after our 12th exam and JEE advanced exam, I thought that we are having 2 to 3 months time. So I should start developing and learning some new things that can help us in future. At that point of time, I started searching for courses online, and I got to know about the Android development course, the one in the Udemy. So I thought this is the best course, as it was very cheap. At that point of time, it was around 400 rupees, and the rating was also very good. So the course was by Rob Percival. For any student who want to enroll that course, he can definitely go for that course. It is one of the best rated course for Android development. So now I will tell about how the journey went for the learning. So if I say about the course content, I would say that it was enough for a new learner to start his journey as an Android development and learn enough things so that he can manage to develop a small application that he could think of. The course is very detailed in all that. The course has covered all the topics in very detail manner, but some things are missing. Like if we talk about the very new things, those are missing in them. But those things can be learnt over time as we go through the course by our own self.
Yeah, exactly.
So now.
Yeah, exactly. So it was an amazing that you have started in a very early age. Like most of the first year students, second year students often get it tough that from where to start and how to start. So you have given a reference that we can also visit Udacity, like we have Google official collabs, and recently our very own Sharin, who is the facilitator of Android Study Jam, we have got to know a lot of Kotlin and stuff. So like you started developing at a very early age, so you started using free material, you have also got some paid material and you started. So like after learning few things, what was the motivation of starting such application? Like how was that phase, please?
So at start, my point was that I should learn something new,
Yeah.
so that I can solve the real life problems of myself, of my father, or of the society. So at that point of time, I was thinking of an application, a simple calculator for my father that he could use to calculate the prices of. He is a wholesaler of tape, cellotape that you see. So it's a formula, very simple formula that goes behind how to calculate the prices of various sizes. But it took time for him, around 10 minutes, to calculate all the prices for different sizes. So I thought, why not build a simple application where you just enter the per meter size and automatically the per meter cost, and automatically it will show you the cost of all the sizes available. So at that point, my motivation was that I should develop this kind of application. So I started learning Android. So as I say, I was from ICSE background, so I knew the basics of Java, and also in class 11th 12th I had C++ in my curriculum. So I know about object-oriented programming in a very good manner. So many students might think that can we directly start Android development, or should we learn first Java or C++? So my point would be that if you are not knowing any languages, so first of all go for C++ or Java. Any one of these would be good for you, so that you get to know about the object-oriented programming aspect and how many things, like basic things like for loop, if else, switch case, and functions are working. And once he is good with that, C++ or Java or any other object-oriented programming language, he is very good to go for the Android development course that I have told you, or even the Udacity one that you are talking about. It's also one of the great course I have seen in the online platforms. So that's how I started. That was the real motivation behind learning of Android development. So now talking about what it took, talking about how long did it took me to learn the complete those things. So at that point, the course was of around 8 to 8.5 hour course. So my point was just that I should learn enough so that I can develop an application for my father. So it was just that the 3 or 4 modules, when I completed, it was good for me that I can start the development of the basic app. And then I developed the first application and gave it to my father. So it took me around 15 days for the first application. So, but it was a really a basic simple app, just a single activity. You have to edit text box, one submit button, and then some text views will come. That was a simple. So, slowly I started learning about. Slowly I moved ahead in my courses, and I learned about many new things like the map, how Google Maps is working, what are the SDKs provided by Google so that we can show a route from one place to another and those kind of things. So it was just going that I should keep on learning and learning, and this was how the first entire semester went off for me. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so exactly what you said, that learning should be the way. Yesterday also I was having a conversation with my core team. So I was discussing for the first year student, what they often mistake is that they learn a lot of things, like going back to database, learning every module and ending up with doing nothing, because once you learn a lot of things without implementing the first module, you forget everything. So you did exactly the same, like you learned a thing, you implemented it for the first semester and you divided your task. So it was the pre-era of PMS, where people used to find a problem, material, PDFs and all. So you started building an application, and the very first thing that was in your mind was to identify a problem. You identified a problem for your further business, right? And when you came in college, so was that a motivation, like I need to find a problem? So like before making something for you, is it like making something is good option, or thinking of finding a problem to a solution? So like what was your motive, like how idea of PMS stayed, like why did you start PMS? So if you can please say something.
Yeah, for me it's always that first look for a problem, and once you identify the correct problem, look for the solution can you build for. It's not necessary that always it would be an Android application. Sometimes in your field it can be a web application or any other thing that you can think of. So it's not that think of the problem of which you know the solution. You should be always ready to learn new things. For example, if you don't know Android development, don't think that I cannot think about developing Android apps. If there is a problem that needs an Android app solution, you should go for that. So it was during my second semester. I was kind of free that time, so I started looking out for problems. So I went to my friends, colleagues, family friends, and anyone that I would meet in the college, classmates, and ask them, is there any problem that you're facing? What kind of application I can develop, or those kind of things. So one friend of mine suggested me that why not come up with an application where students can access the daily class notes from a single mobile app or a website. So I thought that this idea seems to be a very good one, and it's easy to implement this solution, that we will develop an application where all the users will come and register themselves, and they will get access to all the class notes of at least of the computer science department of the Lovely Professional University itself. At that point of time, teachers used to share their class notes or the PPTs to them via LPU Touch, and some teachers might not share it, so a student will ask their friends to share them in WhatsApp, and so the student had access to the material, but it was not arranged in a proper manner. So my aim was I should all the PPTs, class and in a single place, so that the student who is preparing for the exam should not waste his time in searching for those notes. So that was the idea how PMS came into my mind, and how my friends helped me.
Wonderful that we have something that a student faces on everyday basis. That was the problem that was recognized, and a solution that was built based upon it. This is how we get to identify a real life problem in a real scenario.
Yeah, exactly. So not only making an application, the production, not only to make a production ready code, to maintain that code. And many of the people might be knowing that our PMS application is currently running its second year, I think, but continuing such application on a huge scale, because we as a Lovely Professional University student is huge. I know the students knows the number. So before a midterm or an end term, we usually visit that application, and it gets a huge response, like huge traffic. So we will love to know like how you know continued that process and like complete development process of PMS. So I think you have something to show us, like a PPT or something. So there's a good surprise for the audience. So can you please share, and we can go through deep dive into that application so that student will love to know how to identify a problem, how to continue with that problem even though in a difficult stage or phases. Yeah, please. Yeah. It's visible, visible.
Yeah.
Complete.
Boss, can you confirm, is my screen visible?
You can start from yourself, bro. You can start yourself from the first thing. No issue.
Oh. Yeah, I have talked about myself already, and you have given a wonderful introduction. That was more than enough, I think. So talking about the PMS application, initially when we had built the application, we were not targeting such a huge number. As you can see, 20,000 more than 20,000 users are actively. Yeah, more than 20,000 users are actively using the application as of now. So we were not targeting that huge number. So my aim was to develop a very basic app. So I searched over the internet. So what kind of technology, what kind of database management system, and what kind of file storage management system can I use for storing of the file and storing of the data. So at that point of time, I was willing not to pay even a single out of my pocket. So I came to know about the Google Firebase. So the Firebase provides you a free usage every month. So the usage is around, for real-time database, it's around 1 GB data. I don't remember exactly, but there is a free quota there. So I thought this free quota would be more than enough for me to run my entire application. And also in Google Cloud Storage also, they provide around 30 GB of data transfer per month for free. And for other charge, for more than 30 GB, it would cost you around 9 rupees per GB. Apart from all this, Google also provides you a $300 initial credit that you can use for hosting your apps or applications. So this was the solution at first stage that was free for me. So I thought I will go for Firebase for the database management system, and Google Cloud Storage for storing all my files and PPTs, class notes that I had. And for the application, I thought I would go for native Android application that was going to be built by using Java. So before starting collecting the notes and all those things, I first developed a very basic dummy version of the PMS. Within 2 to 3 days, I just built a simple version. And then my aim was that I should start collecting the notes and create a very good quality content so that students like to visit our platform. So then it took me around 25 to 30 days. Every day I would ask some students to share their class notes that they had, and then I would arrange those things in a particular systematic manner. So this was how the entire thing went around for 20 to 25 days. And then just before our second semester exams, just before the end term, I thought I should release the application, as it was the right time to get the attention of the students. So at that point, I released the application on 1st of May, and our exams were from 5th of May. So only developing the application was not the major issue. We should also promote the application and also get the reviews from the users who are actually using the app, so that you can improve on them, and then only an application can be successful. So I released on 1st, and then from 2nd of May itself, I started going to the college, my friends and all the hostlers, and asking them about what they are facing issue, and also asking them to share about the PMS app through WhatsApp in their class group, so that students come to know about that. And within 3 to 4 days, we were able to get around 10K users. So just before our exam, so I will tell first I will tell about what are the various pages and activities going in the application. So as you can see, the first page, when you go into the application, you will see this logo. So it is a splash screen that you will see for some milliseconds, and after that you will come into this section where you student can add as many subjects as he wants to study. So if you see this section, it is a simple list view kind of thing where I am using a SQLite local database for storing what are the subjects of his preferences that he is. And if you see button here, there is a add new subject button. Whenever a user clicks, all the subjects that are available in our database gets synced from the server side through the real-time database APIs, and then the user can add as many subjects as he wants to. Yeah, so whenever a user click on any of the subject, he will get to see a list of files and folders within those subjects. And so this is also a basic simple list view where what I am doing is whenever a user adds a particular subject in his list, I will fetch all the content, chapter names and file names from the server and store it in his local database. I will not sync it every time from online. There are two major reasons for not syncing every time from online. First, it would cost me some money for doing a transaction online, and second thing was user also wanted that the app should work as quick as possible. So I thought local storage would be good for that. And then here, if you see the file section, you will get all the list of files available in the particular topic that he's studying. And if you see a download button is available here, so whenever a user clicks a download button, the API would get called that would download the application that would download the file from the Google Cloud Storage and would save in your local memory, local storage. So I have used Google Cloud Storage was my main preference for this. And then whenever a user clicks on any of the subject, he will get to see the class notes and he can access this easily. So this was all how the application was actually working. So now talking about what are the problems that I faced.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have a very interesting question in my mind. Like, what was the motivation behind the name PMS? Like, why not something else?
So yeah, I will tell a story behind this. So I was thinking of a cool, simple, just a name that would help me to get on the top of the Play Store as soon as possible. So I searched for many related names like Notes Management System and any other thing like that, study, presentation, many other things. But what I found was that if I search for Notes Management System, there were many applications in Play Store. So it would take me very much time for my app to get on the top in Play Store. So I searched for many names and then I found that PMS is one such name. If I am able to manage 5K users, my application would get on top of the list of the Play Store. So that's how I thought about PMS, and of course my friend who co-founded the application with me suggested this cool name for me.
That's amazing. So you created a simple layout like list view. Inside of that, you hosted a local storage to store it so that we can easily see it. So as you said that for many people, those who wants to create such thing, we need to keep one thing in mind. It should be very the production cost should be very less. As you told that if you could have fetched everything from elsewhere, it could have cost you, but it was not actually generating a revenue. So revenue is also an important point from your point of view. So how it's going, is it, if you're free to share, you can do
So talking about once we had released the app, at that point of time we were not having AdMob. So if for users who don't know what AdMob is a ads.
It's monitor basically. It's monitor
basically that Google uses. Monetization based system. So that in which you once you create an account, you can show ads to your users, and those ads would be coming through the Google itself. So Google pays you for every 1,000 ads that you show to the user. And of course, that depends on the number of clicks that your ads are getting. So the more the number of ads that you will get, the more the revenue will generate. So at that, initially for me, it was not about how much revenue I will be able to generate, and I had never thought about that I will have to pay also for the app, as I was not targeting a huge number. It was just for a learning purpose and solving a small problem. So once we had released the app, at that point of time, just before our first exam, around 400 GB of data was consumed in a single day. It was, as far as I remember, maths exam. More than 400 GB of data was consumed. So that costed me around 3,600 rupees for the first day itself. But at that point, Google, as I told you, provides you $300 subscription. So I was able to pay those bills for the entire first exam. So around 17 to 18,000 rupee bill came for the first time. But I was able to manage that. And then later, what I thought was, I applied for AdMob. So AdMob takes around 2 months for verification process and all those kinds. So after 2 months, ad started coming in my app, and the ads are just enough for us that we are able to pay the bills and also generate
exactly.
a small
so
amount of
it's not only
for us.
creating something for fun, it was just to solve some major problem. It's not a basic problem, it was a major problem for CSE students basically. So it created a huge amount for you, but somehow you managed. So good intent always pays off, hard work pays off. So yeah, as you were telling that you are facing some issues while putting into the cloud storage and server handling. So can you please tell that what happened when you get a lot of traffic and suddenly
So as I told you, so Google Cloud Storage was actually costing us too much. It was like 9 rupee per GB for the data transfer that took place from the server. So I thought this is not going to be a feasible solution for a long time. So I thought I should go for another server. The database would be real-time database, Firebase real-time database. That is good enough for us. So I looked for any other solutions, and I started using Linode, if you know, Linode and DigitalOcean. So both are almost similar kind of thing. So initially I went for Linode. I developed a simple backend solution that users will access, and the backend would just send them the file that they are requesting for, and the user can access it. So that was very cheap for me, as they had huge limit of data transfer per month at very cheap cost, way less than the Google. So at that point, I was able to manage that cost part, that how much bill cost we were going to pay. So that was the reason I switched from Google Cloud to Linode, and later from Linode to DigitalOcean.
That was a reason that more often people, what they get is that once they do something, even in a hackathon, exactly what happened with me also. We created that application, and later portion it got crashed. So similar scenario is that once you upload anything on Play Store by for just sake of fun, but later when it becomes eventually a very big, I'll be coming with 2 of the real life examples that actually got funded in millions of dollars. So before coming to that, so it's very important to know like where to solve and how should be the approach. Like you are very calm and quiet, you created such another solution, so it's very important. So what is your suggestion if somebody is facing any problems? So what should be their approach?
So I would suggest that don't lose your patience during the initial days of your hard work. If you ask me, in my case, it took me more than 30 days just for arranging the notes, and that was a very boring task. You have to visit each and every room, ask for notes, then collect, arrange. That was boring task. But if I had lost my patience during those times, I would not be able to come up with the PMS app. So you should not lose your patience. Be dedicated and hard work. Even once you release the app or you are reached one step ahead, you should not stop putting time into it and putting your hard work into it. So as in my case, I would say after the release of application, we had around 50 subjects at that point of time. but we were focusing on more and more subjects. So we covered around 150 subjects more during our summer break, and so that was one of the things that helped us to reach more users in our university itself. Initially, we were looking for only CSE. Later, we went for ECE branch, agriculture branch, and mechanical branch, and many others. So, the one simple tip from my side would be just be patient and do your hard work. Hard work will pay you.
So, Yasharu, do you have any question?
Yeah, I have one question. You said that we need to ask reviews of others after we make an application. That is, we need to iterate our prototype amongst the real-time users. So, can you give any tips on how we actually approach the audience?
So, if you ask me how you should go on for asking the reviews, so I would suggest always look for the reviews on the Google. If you are releasing an app in Play Store, then you can always look for the reviews in the Play Store itself. And also make sure that you are actually visiting some of the users and asking them what more they want, what are the problems that they are facing. So if I would say one such problem during the initial app when I had launched the app, at that point we were not providing the download feature within the app. Every time the user had to open the file, it will get from the server. So that was also costing us money, and the user was also facing the problem. So that was the problem that was shared by many of our users, and we solved that within 2 to 3 days of the initial days, and then
it was definitely a bigger problem. Like even when I used to use in a longer back when I was in my undergraduation. So we used to download locally, for example. So as you said that we are directly using your storage, so it was costing more, and you so this should be the approach. Like if there is a problem, we need to think positively and having a good calm and be patientful towards the problem. So that was an amazing inspiration, as many of the audience are telling I got a message like his app is really a blessings. So yeah, amazing. Like, people are appreciating all over the university all around. So it's not a matter of joke from contributing 50 subjects, 50 departments to 150 subjects. So it's a big thing for anybody, for a second year students, and moving forward to it. So moving forward, like how did this PMS application helped you or motivated you in order to get some big achievements in life? Because we'll be coming for the next thing, that SDE and something. You have also created some application for the stock market and all. So have a quick chat on that.
Yeah. So first I will tell about how PMS has helped me to kickstart my journey as a freelancer, and also helped me in getting the intern job at LinkedIn. So if I say just after our third semester, during our winter break, I had uploaded my resume on various platforms. At that point, and in that resume, I had mentioned that I developed a PMS application and I'm an Android developer. From that resume itself, a CTO sir of one company situated here in Ranchi. So the name of the company is Vedika Credit Capital Limited. They provide microfinance loan to various users. So they reached me and they asked me to join as an Android developer in their team, as they were having a lack of that Android developer at that point of time. So I interviewed with them and they asked me for my resume, and the only good thing in my resume was that a PMS application and with such a huge number of users. So if you are able to show your clients or your interviewer that you have built something and is actually being used in the production environment, that creates a lot of impact in the minds. So it is not. So it definitely give you a boost over other people who have just built for the testing purposes or for the local environment. So always make sure that whatever we develop and whatever kind of application you develop, just you release it in the production environment and is available for anyone to use. So that creates a good mind. That definitely create a good pressing, yeah, good impact about you. So then if I tell about how my freelancing journey started, uh, the CTO sir checked my application, and then he thought, okay, I am good for a Android application, and he gave me a project. So the project was for an auditing app for the company that would be used by the auditors for doing the day-to-day, for making entries of day-to-day tasks that they were doing, and generate a report based on the entries that they have made. So that was a simple application, but there was again a challenge for me. At that point, I knew only about PHP for the backend development of the application. So I developed the complete application using PHP. But the company wanted me to use any other framework like Spring. The users know, Spring is a framework that is built that uses Java as its scope. So they wanted me that the complete application should be built using the Spring itself. So at that point I was not knowing about Spring. I started learning about Spring from Udemy, from YouTube speakers, and from many blogs that you will see online. So what I would suggest to users is don't be reluctant to learn new technology. As the day you stop learning new technology, you will get obsolete. So always make sure that whenever you face a new challenge and that requires a new solution, go for that. So after that, I completed the complete application. It took me around 1.5 months, and then later from that same company, I had got 3 to 4 more projects. Currently, for that company, I'm working on for 3 more projects for them, and for other companies also, I have completed around 2 projects. So that's how the simple PMS application helped me to get these kinds of
so exactly, like, one problem you have solved, and by solving a problem, it created a lot of other mini problems for your journey to succeed, right? So it helped you in such a way that you got like many 3rd, 4th, 5th time offers from different organizations, and also you told that not only you created application for a different company in your hometown, they wanted it on a different language, the backend. You knew some other language, so there should be the idea. You already succeeded. You crossed 20,000 subscription, like downloads. Still, it was an option for you. You could have left it easily, but you did that. You opt for it. You learned a new technology, and you landed that application to them. So, like, tell us a journey. Like, one of our audience wants to know how LinkedIn. How to apply in a LinkedIn, or like how did you apply for LinkedIn, and what was the journey to LinkedIn? It's a very big product-based company. So what was the motivation and journey? Can you please share in a brief?
So yeah, just after our 4th semester, I was looking. After our 4th semester exams. During the lockdown, when the lockdown had started, one of my friends had got a intern job at Amazon. So I thought it is also the right time for me to start preparing for the internship and all. So I started preparing for internship, and at that same point of time, I applied for many companies online. One such company was Goldman Sachs, and Amazon also I had applied, and LinkedIn also. So for LinkedIn, I applied on the LinkedIn platform itself.
As per I know, there was no referral or no help from any other people, right? You directly applied for the career code.
Yeah, I directly applied on the.
So it was off
on the
campus,
LinkedIn
right?
portal itself, where it was an off-campus opportunity. So the interviewer messaged me around 1 month later that I should appear for this test, and they messaged me in LinkedIn itself. Though it was not a mail, it was on LinkedIn itself, and it was like for all the people who had applied that job. The test was for everyone. So the first test was for a normal test where they had 3 coding questions and around 5 to 6 questions based on JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. So I will tell you a funny story behind here. So those 3 coding questions were compulsory for everyone, but those 5 questions were not compulsory for everyone. Only those who wanted a role as a front-end developer had to solve those questions. So I had applied for a back-end role, but I thought, why not solve these questions also, as it seemed easy for me. So I started solving those questions, and I was able to solve all those 5 questions. And out of those 3 questions which was compulsory, I was able to solve 2.5 questions. Later, when the results came, what I noticed, and my friends noticed, that only those who had solved those 5 questions which are not compulsory has been selected for the next round. Even those who had solved all the first 3 questions were not selected for the first one. So that's one important lesson for all the students out there, that don't think that if it is not compulsory, I should not do that. Always take one step ahead, so that all the students can, so that you don't miss any opportunity. And then later I had one more round of interview with the company, two more rounds of interview two more rounds of interview with the company, and I was selected.
So and it's a great learning, like, so that particular understanding of yourself, that not to leave anything in between, you started solving the 5 questions and eventually you got selected. So like any other tip that you want to give for the rest of the community, those who want to part in a hackathon, or by participating in a hackathon they're looking forward to have their career in as an entrepreneur or as a big product-based company. So any suggestion that actually helped you, like if you knew this many things, it could have helped you much more. So any learning toward this journey which you want to please?
Yeah. So first of all, I would say that anyone who is going to participate in this hackathon, even if you are not going to win this hackathon, don't lose your hope. If you have built something, at least a scratch kind of app, make sure that you develop it completely later after the hackathon, and resolve all the problems that you had identified during the hackathon, and make sure to release that application, be it a website, an Android app, or some other kind of technology using machine learning. Any solution that you have built, make sure that you release in the production environment. This will definitely create a great impact in your future whenever you are going to sit for the interviews itself. And also it will boost your confidence many times, as you will come to know that you have built something and actually people are using it. It will create a sense of responsibility within you.
Exactly. So like, can you please tell us like what kind of questions, like 3 coding questions? So any short brief on the 3 questions, like it was a graph, or it was a DP, or it was a something, like which kind of question?
Yeah. So first question I will tell was directly based on mathematics itself. So there was some formula going behind that question, and I was not able to figure out. That's the one question that I was not able to figure out properly. If the second question that was related to the DP, it was a very easy problem. And the third question was related to, as far as I remember, it was related to graph. I am not so sure. It was related to DP plus bit masking.
So like alongside of development, as you started developing in early stage after 12, and later you took it serious by solving the mainstream problem the second year onwards. Like, have you started practicing problem solving codings and all, like CP or something other than the development, like computer coding or something?
Yeah, so from first semester itself, I knew that development is not only going to help me in the later stages during my internship or the placement. So we had one event in our college where one bhaiya told us about the importance of competitive coding. So I took that seriously, and I was not knowing about competitive coding at that point of time. And later when I was scrolling through Facebook, I got to know about the Facebook Hacker Cup coding challenge. So I thought I would participate in that, and I participated there. It was a simple coding round for the first round, where they had some 3 questions that I had to solve using any language of my choice. So I solved that, and then later I came to know about what are the difficult problems that we have to solve in the competitive coding. So I started learning concepts like DP, graph. So it was not that I would sit one day and learn DP for 1 week or 2 weeks and then implement those. So every time what I would do is pick a question, try to solve it on my own. If I knew the concept, if I was able to, it was good. If I was not able to solve the question, I will look for the solution, see what is good in this solution, why I was not able to come up with this solution, and then implement that solution. So what I would suggest to students is, don't try to learn everything at the first go. Learn something, implement it, then learn again new things, and then implement it. It will help you later. It will save your time also, and when you will see backwards, you will see, yeah,
So
actually
it's all about
something.
connecting the dots. Like it's nothing can make you as superstar overnight. We need to put all these effortless nights, and after we do it for after 2 or 3 months, we can look back and see connecting the dots. Yeah, we have done something, and you have done an amazing, great job. And it is like like there is no words to compare that you have solved a major problem in a university level. Similarly, people solve different sets of problem in a hackathon, and they create many wonders. As first a podcast you have seen, Praveen Agarwal came and shared his experience. He created a similar application like Help You Touch. So that's an important thing. Okay, so any Shahrukh, do you have something to say? Like, can you please help the audience? They have some question. Can you see it? So we can go for any Q session.
Yeah, there's one person asking, do they ask any interpersonal skills like outside the? Do we actually come up with outside the box thinking? Especially when you have a technical round interview and they ask questions in front of you, and you'll have to give a most possible solution. So how do you come up with those things?
So one such question I would say, so the LinkedIn is having one round, HR round, where they talk about all your normal HR based questions for you. So one such questions that you should be prepared for is that, how did you manage to work as a team? So that what hackathon is going to teach you. And also, how do you manage the conflict within your team? So these are the things that you can learn when you're working in a hackathon or in any projects that you work as a team. So these things can only be answered if you have worked in some good projects. So if I tell in my case, the interviewer had asked me around 5 to 6 questions, and all those questions were answered with the help of those projects that I have done with the team of mine.
Yeah. So
how experience builds up to experience. That's how past experience will contribute to what you're going to do in future.
Another very amazing story that I was reading an article long back regarding, many people often found that you said that we need to start for a hackathon project, we need to end making it a complete solution. When I did the same mistake, I stopped in between. Even I should do that from now onwards. Like one of the story I read was that there was a hackathon, like in between there's a startup named as Docracy. It was a product, two people, young mind, Matt Halls and John Wilkinson. They went up to make an application that allow business to legal documentation and all. So they participated in a hackathon in early 20s in a TechCrunch International Hackathon. So similarly, they didn't ever expected that small project will ending up getting 6 lakhs funding, US dollars. Similarly, one of the application like Easy Taxi, it got funded about $75 million. I think it was in 2011. Yeah, so this kind of small thing actually takes you a long part. You don't even realize how big it can create an impact. So as Nimagna said, I really appreciate the point that having patience on a first go, learning at an early age, implementing on a second go, and on a third go, we need to have that patience to understand what's problem we are doing. And feedback is also important for all the students that are looking forward to have for their first hackathon. So yeah, Shahrukh, love to add, as you have experienced a lot of hackathons. So you want to say something?
From all the hackathon experiences I have, the major problem that I face is we start a project and leave it in between. And that is not to be done, because if you, the fear of completion, if you complete, that fear will keep many unfinished projects in your GitHub, and when writing your resume, what the problem is that you don't find projects to put. Every project you take up, you find, yeah, this is incomplete. I shouldn't be doing it. I shouldn't put it in my resume. You should not do this kind of mistake. If you take up a project, just complete it. Whatever be the shortcomings, ask for help and just complete it. No matter you win or not.
And Nimagna, like one thing I like to say is that, how many projects that you have put on your resume, like apart from PMS?
So as of now, I had put around 4 projects in my resume. So the first project is PMS itself.
That's great. And one of the audience are having any question that, like, how was your experience encountering data structures and algo in early age? Like, how was your,
So I would say during my during the first semester, what I did was I randomly picked questions from Google Kickstart round, the previous questions. So at that point, the questions were pretty simple as compared to right now. So I would read that question, I go for try approach, a simple brute force approach, and then later when I was not able to complete that question, I would look for the solution, understand it, and then implement it again. So what students make mistake is that once they have read the solution, they don't implement it. They think they know, but that's where you should not be. You should always implement the solution even though you are knowing. It helps you in getting speed, and also your understanding improves in that code. So that was during the first semester. But later during my fifth semester, when I was preparing for internship, I thought I should refer some content that is actually specific to the internship and placement. So I started looking for Geeks for Geeks and also for the interview bit. So I practiced questions. I practiced on interview bit and read.
I can see one of the audience, Avai Singh. I know him personally. He's also a good coder. He is asking which platform do Nimagna Bhaiya would suggest for the competitive coding. So do you have anything to say to Avai?
So I would suggest that if you are preparing for internship, definitely go for interview bit. So benefit is that they have limited set of questions, and all those questions are specific for the interview itself. And if you are targeting a particular company, then you can definitely read out for the past questions that they have asked in Geeks for Geeks. And if you are targeting some tough level questions, then you can practice previous code jam questions, previous year Kickstart questions, and also take part in Code Forces round. That's it.
So yeah, we all have discussed a lot about competitive coding, product management, and as we are running out of the time, we will be taking one of the last few questions. Do we, Sharu? So we can have 2 or 3 more questions regarding hackathon, participating to it, how we can get started, and you can get motivation from Nimagna as well. He has created many paradigms, creating application, working for companies. He learned and he created and he rebuilt many of the things. Okay.
I have one question.
Please.
The ratings and ranking at platforms like Hashcode, CodeJam, CodeChef, Codeforces matters or not?
So in my case, I don't think so it mattered at any point during the complete internship journey, as in all the companies, be it Goldman Sachs or the LinkedIn, they had never asked me about my rating or the ranking in those platforms. But definitely these good rating and good ranking can help you boost your confidence within you. That will definitely impact how you appear for the interview. So you should always try to get a good ranking. It will help
I have an amazing question from a young developer. That's Shivam Mishra. He's a very young developer. I know him personally. So he is into Android development and he wants to know what is the toughest part of implementing an idea into an app. Can you please give? No other person can give the better answer from you. So what is the toughest part of implementing an idea into an app?
So if I say the toughest part is definitely not the tech, you will able to manage the tech easily, because if you are facing some problem, you can always reach out to Stack Overflow or your elder college mates or anyone who is having idea of related to that technology. So technology is not the toughest problem at all. The major problem is the motivation to get to do the hard work for making that app successful. So I would suggest don't lose your motivation. Always do your hard work until and unless the app
So
actually
amazing.
becomes successful.
So motivation and patience and implementing each and every step is the key that you have created. Nimagna, it's absolutely great. And I think Sharu, can we take one more question and we can wrap up for the session with the ending note, or shall we end?
Yeah, folks, if you have any questions related to anything, we have an amazing developer sitting with us who's willing to answer, who's also a fellow student from our own university. If you have any other question, just shoot it out in the chat box.
Okay, I'll be waiting for a few more seconds. And if no, then we can proceed for the ending note. And you all can actually recast this television, recording into YouTube as well and any other platform that we are seeing. If you have any doubts, please see this podcast recording. Want to participate in hackathon and want to learn how things works, how to team does works, and so
we have one question: how to manage CP along with development?
So if I suggest, don't try to manage both the things together.
That's great.
So you have enough 4 years of your college time. Even if you are in third year right now, you have more than 1 year for placement. You can divide your time. So for like 3 months, you will be doing CP and then switch to development for 6 and 7 months, and then later come back to CP for 3 to 4 months. Don't try to manage both the things together. The learning part, of course, while you are doing while you are okay with development and CP, then you can manage the practicing of both the later. During the learning phase, don't try to mix both of them.
And we have an interesting question that how to do marketing and at an initial stage of a startup like edutech company, like as you told that marketing is not exactly what you pay and you do manually. As Nimagna said one time, he actually ranked his application on the Play Store by putting a different name. Like if you use this kind of like same name application, it won't have been ranked properly, right? As we use Google Ads, there is SEO platform. So how you want to answer, Nimagna, like do marketing at an initial stage? What should be the approach? Yeah.
So if I talk, definitely if you are releasing an application or website, make sure to use a good. If you have the budget, then you can also go for Google Ads, Google AdWords and those kind of things for getting ads. But if you have like a limited for example, if our target audience was LPU, within LPU, so I could have reached each and everyone easily through WhatsApp. So what I did, I went to each and every room of my hostel, asked them to share about the PMS application within their college group. So that's how I did marketing.
Okay, that's great. So I think we are running out of the time. So I'll be wrapping up the session. And if anybody wants to know anything regarding this, please reach out to our YouTube channel. And also we are going to bring an amazing session on web and machine learning and so on for the next few years. From tomorrow, so 13 March, we are bringing a lot of great personalities, Google developers, experts, and a lot of renowned personalities from SD1 to SD3. They're going to come, they're going to discuss with you all to learn, keep learning and keep motivating yourself. Do participate in the internal hackathon as well as the Global Solution Challenge. And I would like to thank Nimagna Jan for giving his valuable time. And also I'd like to thank our entire Developer Student Club community, my co-host Sharanya Vagabi, and like our management lead Suraj, our TSC lead Mr. Bhavesh Mali, and entire team for the support and encouraging the community to bring such amazing people in between us so that we can learn from their real life experience. And last thing, keep learning and never be demotivated. As Nimagna said, patience is important for having a successful dev life or a life for a geek student. Yeah. So thanks a lot, audience, for being with us. Such an amazing audience, and thank you, folks. Thank you, Nimagna. Thank you, Sharanya, for having for this evening. Thanks a lot. Okay, signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, boss.